Alright, so chapter 1022 just came out for One Piece today, and it was pretty good, honestly. It wasn't like it wasn't major, like there wasn't a lot of major things. It was mainly just a few fights and then a really nice panel in between. There was a few good lore dumps though that we'd like to go over. Real quick. First off, we found out that Fukurokuju, his family is basically, always been kind of the assistant to the shogun, or like the serves the shogun as like a guard or something. It wasn't specifically stated, it just said he serves the shogun. So that seems pretty cool. So we know, although we didn't see him when or maybe we did. We didn't see him when Odin was getting expelled and stuff, but apparently he did also work for Odin's dad and all that jazz, and all the other shogun, his family at least, which is very interesting to think about. Honestly, like there's a lot that could be in there. Like obviously, because Raizo was his kind of what would you say? Odin's kind of guard as well. Odin's one of Odin's scabbards, yeah. I guess he knows Fukurokuju through that. It clears a lot up, but that wasn't the most interesting lore dump, and that doesn't leave a lot to talk about. This one though does. So we found out from Marco in this chapter that King is from a fire based species that lives on the red line or atop the red lines. They live near Marijua or on Marijua. So what we can assume, based on what they're saying about your clan is extinct, is that when the red lion popped up originally, or maybe this is like, okay, there's two different ways this could go about. So let's go around with the idea that the world government created the red lion. So when the red lion was created, these species decided to nest on the red lion or make it their home, and then when the celestial dragons came up to live on it, soon after they built it, they killed his species, and his species lived for quite a long time. So he was able to survive, or one of his parents survived, and then he was born. And he's the last one of his kind. It's a very interesting take on it. It would be even more interesting if we think that he's lived through the void century, if he's like literally seen the purge. But at the same time, the idea is kind of strange, because Kaido wouldn't be looking for the poneglyphs if he did. Now it could be a thing where he was so young during the void century he didn't really know anything, but it wouldn't make sense because Kaido could get information off him, so it's probably not the case. But it would be a very cool kind of takeaway from it. There is also the idea that the red lion isn't man-made, which is the less likely idea, and these were the original inhabitants of the red lion. I will double check now. Actually, just I double check that. I'm pretty sure it was the red lion. Yeah, it was. So yeah, it is possible that these are the original inhabitants of the red lion, and when the celestial dragons came to live on it, they wiped out his race, or at least moved them to a different spot, or got rid of them, and then went to wipe them out later on. There's many ways they could go about it, but it's a very interesting lore dump. We finally understand why his race is so looked after, and we can assume because they have wings, they're also a sky tribe somehow. From the moon, maybe, like the other sky people. That's just assumptions now, but that's the main pull of this chapter, is that reveal. Because at the start of the chapter, we do see Luffy in his like full fat form, kind of like, that form he was in before he went Tank Man. So we're about to see him in the next couple of chapters do his thing and do what he usually does, and go up to see Kaido. And we might see what actually happened when Momo asked Shinobu that question, which is very interesting. I did make a video on that earlier in the week, which I'm sure you can check out in the card up on the right. So I'm very intrigued by what could happen next, honestly. Other than that, there was just a few fighting bits we were shown that Other than that, there was just a few fighting bits with Fukurokachu fighting Raizo. We got to see that, and basically, as I said earlier on, but more importantly, we got to see that King has finally taken out Marco somewhat, or at least Marco doesn't want to fight anymore, and now is fighting against Sanji. Sanji's on the ground, although he's not defeated. So I don't know if there was a panel of him fighting them and getting knocked down. I kind of honestly, I wasn't looking over that page very much because I went to see the double spread and I was paying more attention to that because it's this really cool double spread with like King and Queen standing alongside each other, and even the coloring done in the fan colorings is absolutely amazing. It looks so cool, and I can't wait until that's like animated, because that will look so cool in the anime's new art style. But then we're told that Zoro is back on his feet, or just about to be, and then funnily enough we get this really cool thing at the end of the chapter where Sanji and Zoro do this combo attack. And this is also great because it tells you that we're nearing the end of One Piece, actually, because to put this in for the characters, they said you can tell if we beat these guys, Luffy's so close to being the Pirate King, or something like that. It wasn't the exact phrasing, but it was something like that. Luffy is soon going to be the Pirate King. I think it was more that. And it shows not only their belief in Luffy, but also shows that Oda is really dedicated to ending the story soon. So I don't know how quick it's going to be, because I don't know. I'm looking at it more now and thinking maybe it'll be more quicker than we think it will be for the end of the story now. Just with this chapter, obviously there's a lot more to do in Wano. I'm changing my mind on Wano a little bit, because it seems like it's wrapping up really quickly. So we might get like another 20 chapters maybe. We're on 22. There's usually like 36 to 40 chapters. We could see it end this year, like just about, or literally like within the first week or within the first month of the next year. We could actually see Wano end. I'm quite confident on that now. At least very, very relatively confident, you know? There could be something that kind of shifts it around a bit, but I think Kaido will be defeated by the time our Pokemon Legends Arceus comes out. Kaido will probably be down, and I think that's very interesting. But I do want to know what people think about Queen. I hope there's a lot of discussion on that. I might talk about it myself if I come up with better ideas other than what I talked about there today. And the combo attack was so cool. And I don't think we've seen many combo attacks from those two, but it was so cool. It was like it was so cool, and it really shows you how, like, although people always discuss their power levels, they're very similar in power. Like, they're very, like, Zoro's obviously kind of more combat minded, but it's not like that much of a difference. Like, Zoro would struggle immensely against Sanji in a battle, enough to where if Zoro's on a certain level, Sanji is on that level as well, but on a lower tier for that level, because he's not more combat minded. You know what I mean? I'm not really into that type of thing. I like when people argue about it. It's fun to see people take sides and shit, and it's an interesting conversation. But I think this shows Oda always tries to persuade them as equals, and this combo attack was so fucking cool, and I think it's good for both sides of the fan base, you know, to show how much, a really good moment for both sides of the fan base. And even the fact that Sanji's not dead fighting King and Queen at the same time while Zoro's recovering is quite admirable for him in itself. So I'd say a lot of people are going to be happy with this chapter, myself included. But Jesus, I can't wait now until the Luffy, Kaido and Yamato fight, and Momo now. I'm really looking forward to it, mate. I honestly am. I can't wait for the next chapter now. But there wasn't much to discuss this time around, because it was mainly just a couple cool moments and a couple lore dumps. There wasn't too much in it. Although we did see Marco again showing his faith in the Straw Hats, because he blocked one of Queen and King's attacks and went, "It's not my turn to shine in this battle. I must get off the stage now." And then we get that combo attack. But I must say, also something I forgot to mention about the Raizo fight was they both again mentioned the Scabbards dying when they were like, even if we die here. And another Scabbard has brought that up. So it brings more credence to the idea that all the scabbards will die in this fight, or at least the vast majority of them. I don't know if I believe that both of the animals or both of the mink leaders will die, but they're both scabbards, so it could totally happen. But another amazing chapter and an amazing end to this chapter. I urge you all, even if you don't, even if you wait for the official release, once you read the official release, please look at that color page of that fan coloring of the final panel with Zoro and Sanji, because that was so cool and so well drawn and so well colored. I think that was amazing, and I think it's one of our first combo attacks, or at least the first one in a while for those two. And it was so cool to see, and even them reaffirming their confidence in Luffy along with it. It's just a really, really good way to end the chapter. It's been a really crazy week this week. Oh man, an amazing week. An absolutely amazing One Piece chapter and a bunch of news on the new Pokemon games. Man, I'm a happy boy this week.